Just 3 years ago, this company didn't even exist. Its founder looked like a naive dreamer, and people dismissed their plans as wild fantasies. Now, the startup is valued at $39.5 billion. CEO Brad Edcock spoke with Bloomberg. Amazon and Microsoft are pouring millions in, and their robots work in BMW factories. We're talking about Figure, one of the most ambitious robotics companies. In October, they unveiled their latest model, Figure 3. It's a huge leap forward, so big that Time magazine named it one of the Time 100 most important technologies of the year. Reporters even compare the robot to the iconic Ford Model T, the first mass-produced car that revolutionized not just industry, but the whole 20th century. And this time, it's not just a flattering comparison. If Figure delivers on its plans, their robots will truly be made by the millions. Today, you'll find out why Figure's robot is the nerd among the rowdy bots, how to teach a robot to think, see, and act without a script, and why tidying up the house is the toughest challenge in robotics. To really grasp how awesome Figure 3 is, let's start with some context. In robotics, like in life, some tasks are simple, others complicated. Here's the catch. Sometimes what looks flashy and tough is actually easy. But what seems boring and routine, that's the real challenge. You've probably seen Uni 3 robots doing backflips and martial arts, or Boston Dynamics robots flipping around with style. That's because mastering those moves is a solved problem. And then doing it exactly in the real world, in a controlled space, any startup can handle that. But that's where it gets truly tough. Yeah, robots are just like people. Get a black belt in karate? Sure. Take clothes off the dryer that have been hanging there for a week? It's impossible. Figure 3 doesn't look impressive on paper either. Sure, compared to the last model, it's taller, slimmer, and sleeker, but everything else is the same. Lifting capacity, walking speed, battery life. There are robots that are faster, nimbler, stronger, Tesla Optimus, Uni 3 H2, Boston Dynamics Atlas. But Figure 3 isn't an acrobat, it's AI brought to life. The company intentionally trades off speed and strength for computational power and precision in handling tasks that are truly complex in unstructured environments like our homes. Remember Figure 2? It was designed as a typical factory worker. The new model, dressed in a cozy sweater, is positioned as a home worker. That's why Figure is stepping into the territory of competitors like the Norwegian company X1. Another company launched pre-orders for their new robot, Neo, a knit-style housekeeper like Figure. But don't be fooled by appearances. These models differ hugely in capability. Most videos show Neo being remotely controlled by a person in a VR headset. It's not truly autonomous yet. Neo can't do much on its own, but it's expected to learn and improve significantly by next year, though for now it relies mostly on human control to perform tasks. The key is to get your pre-order in. Seriously, maybe it's possible, but it's hard to believe. Now back to Figure. This company is a whole different story. Their robots already think and act autonomously, powered by their own AI called Helix. Here we'll dive into some cool details, but first, a quick recap. Helix is a VLA model, meaning Vision Language Action. It was designed to turn pixels and words into actions. It enables robots to reason and operate in unstructured environments with human-like abilities. And that's no accident. Its design is inspired by human thinking. It was explained by a psychologist and Nobel laureate. He describes two systems, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and automatic. It works on emotions and past experience with little effort. This system helps you react instantly in daily situations, like recognizing images or dodging objects without thinking. For example, System 1 lets you instantly recognize images, dodge flying objects. System 2 is slow, logical, and deliberate. It takes more mental effort and focus. System 2 kicks in when you need to solve a math problem, plan your moves, or answer riddles, like the classic one about two chairs. Basically, System 1 handles quick, automatic reactions. System 2 manages thoughtful, deliberate actions and precise control, which is how Helix AI is designed. System 1 runs fast at 200 Hz with 80 million parameters, enabling quick, unconscious responses. It constantly monitors body position and controls limbs like human reflexes, sending continuous signals to the shoulder, elbow, wrist, torso, and each finger. This happens in a high-dimensional action space, allowing smooth, coordinated movement. So the robot moves smoothly, softly, fast, and adaptive, just like a human. System 2 runs much slower, between 7 to 9 Hz, and it's got a huge 7 billion parameters powering it, which is a massive amount. This system handles scene understanding, speech, and thinking, kind of like human logic. Helix lets Figure robots hear commands, think them through, generalize, and work on tasks on their own, no scripts needed. They can even team up with another robot, all in real time, no servers involved. Helix is the first VLA model that runs fully on embedded low-power GPUs. That's already pretty cool, but Helix's main feature is something else. Helix can learn continuously and on its own, without human help. This is thanks to several unique technologies. One of the most exciting breakthroughs of Helix is its use of a single neural network weight set. So, what does that mean exactly? Let me explain. Traditionally, robots learn different skills separately. For instance, there's one model just for picking objects up, another one specifically for opening cabinet doors, and yet another for operating the dishwasher. Each of these separate models means you have to do a lot of manual programming to get them to work smoothly together. But Helix works differently. It uses just one single unified neural network rather than multiple separate ones. This one neural network is truly impressive because it handles everything simultaneously, taking in the robot's camera feed, joint positions, and natural language commands to decide what to do next. For instance, if you say, pick up the cup and put it in the cabinet, it understands and executes that smoothly. Now moving on to the second technology, zero-shot generalization. This means the robot can perform tasks it's never encountered before, even without prior examples. In simple terms, the robot can generalize its knowledge, working with objects it's never seen until that moment, inside a room it's never been in before. For example, the robot gets a command, grab this object and it'll do it. Even if it hasn't seen that exact object, it's seen something similar. Or during demos, it's asked to pick up a desert item, and then he grabbed a toy cactus to demonstrate the coolest part. These robots can generalize not just objects around them, but even each other. That's why multiple robots can act perfectly in sync without needing any prior training. And honestly, that's priceless. Not everyone can do that. But to keep learning and constantly improving, the robots need a steady stream of high-quality data. The company actually has 3 solutions to ensure this flow, and the very first one is that the robots collect the data themselves. You didn't believe it, but robot pre-orders have already started. Pretty soon they might hit the shelves at Big Geek. The new Figure 3 model didn't just get cosmetic upgrades, the sensors got a serious boost. First off, the cameras were updated. Frame rate doubled, lag cut by 4 times, field of view increased by 60%, and depth of focus improved. Second, they added wrist cameras because, according to the company, people mostly work within tight spaces at home, making hand cameras critical. Third, they revamped the touch system. The fingertips were softened. They increased the contact area to really improve grip and embedded ultra-sensitive pressure sensors in the fingertips. Plus, they sped up the motors and boosted the torque. This makes the robot able to do pick-and-place actions at a speed comparable to a human's. Also, to keep the learning cycle going, the robot has a 10 gigabit per second high-speed data upload system. So every time it charges, it uploads terabytes of data to the cloud. And check out how the Figure 3 charges. Yeah, wirelessly. It just stands on a mat, quietly charging with induction coils embedded in its feet. But here's the big question. If these robots aren't on store shelves yet, where exactly do they get their training data from? Now, Figure 3 marks a turning point as the company's first mass-produced robot model. To support this, they built an entire BOTQ factory dedicated to its production. Ambitiously, BOTQ aims to produce 12,000 robots in its first year. That's about 33 robots every single day, a truly remarkable manufacturing goal. This shift represents Figure's move from concept to scalable reality in the robotics industry. To reach those production goals, Figure revamped how they build robots. They moved away from slow, costly CNC machining, which carves parts by computer programs, switching to casting and stamping instead. This cut manufacturing time for complex steel parts from over a week to just 20 seconds. Though pricey up front, the new method slashed part costs by 90%, making production much faster and cheaper. On top of that, new teams for safety and reliability sprang up, fast-tracking life cycle and durability testing for parts. Another big challenge Figure faced was building a reliable supply chain. And while Figure robots are only in demo homes and factories for now, it's quite possible that in 2 or 3 years, maybe sooner, these robots will be vacuuming homes in California, or maybe even a tech blogger's apartment. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like, subscribe,